Not sure what we're on, whether it's part 8 or part 9, so I'll pop that up when I read the video. But we are reading today Tao Tantric Arts for Women by Milka DeVos, Cultivating Sexual Energy, Love and Spirit, the divine sexuality, the energy of our essence, our creativity. And in this particular section, I know we're about to read Conscious Conception. So I just wanted to add an insert for here. My daughter was consciously conceived during the time I could feel during the actual conception process. I've always connected to this divine essence, or I've been feeling that coming in. I was very much aware of the moment at that point. So I felt like she was consciously conceived and came in with that high light, as to in the awareness of my son, but it wasn't in the same. I had an awareness when it was happening and knew that it happened, so that I wasn't, it automatically was happening and I knew it had happened. Whereas the second time I was aware, knew, was drawing in that highest, for the highest good, the soul that was coming through. So that's my own personal experience without having any knowledge. That was just being very connected to my own guidance. But we will continue. So conception, page 44, which felt very, very relevant. 44 is a number that I see everywhere, I feel very connected to. And when I'm recording this, it's in the year of, which is a numerological 8. So 44 to me it represents the coming together of your divine counterpart, the masculine and the feminine in divine, falling in that soul, twin soul flame connection. But that said, we can save that for another day. But the fact that it had on this page 44, I thought that's a little sight. So the power to choose. The instinct to become a mother is a powerful drive. Every month there is a reminder of the potential muffin that could grow in your oven. It is very special at this time to be able to make the free and conscious choice whether or not to conceive a child. It is important to look at where that choice comes from. The choice to not conceive could come out of fear of committing yourself to this devotional lifestyle. On the other hand, some women would rather be free to study, travel, or work on their careers, and some women may face challenges such as having met the right guy, or health issues, or conflicting desires. One way to make the conscious choice is through using the practice of the jade egg and inner smile. So, you know, when we inner smile, we hold that energy, we're feeling the cells and the joy running through our body, that we do in Qigong. We do that on a regular basis. What was I? Sorry, inner smile, as to ask the womb if it desires a child. In meditation, smile to your heart and all your organs with this inquiry about having a child. Does the whole body say yes, or does it say, I'm not ready yet, or this feels like it is not meant to be? So when lots of you might have asked that question when you were looking about, I'm going to try for a baby, it's that conscious desire stating that to the universe. Now, whether the journey after that meant there was issues, things that come up with fertility, regardless, and actually this creation energy of a child and how that child comes to you, whether it comes through the body in the womb, that child and baby might have come to you via another womb, but still be energetically yours, as well to the projects and the energy of that creation and mothering into being and into birthing other things, if that's your journey. So it's just as relevant to understand that, but this is that conscious of knowing and knowing why. You could, I would suggest going in through the light of the consciousness, bringing or imagining a light in the head, taking it down into the womb, and speaking. And there is actually on this channel a video that I recorded for my members for a healing and a womb healing that practice for any of the trauma from victims from rape, from trauma from hereditary trauma of the womb, and the womb and the witch womb that come through from women that's there in the collective, that's maybe coming out cellular, that need to stop that process happening in the physical. So what have we got to? Yes, or does it say I'm not ready yet, or this feels like it's not meant to be. It's also good to inquire with permission about whether your partner is ready, willing, and able to be a father of a child. This can be done by meditating together with soul gazing. If you put your hand on each other's heart and you link heart energy, so get into your heart coherence. Those of you know that needs the heart math, heart coherence, how to get into heart coherence, and breathing and connecting. So you're tapping into that heart rhythmic fields. You do that with each other and you mirror that energy. It's also good to be a child. So it's also good to inquire with permission about whether your partner is ready, willing, and able to be a father or a child. This can be done by meditating together with soul gazing. It's possible that the baby spirit has, like Cupid, brought a couple together to be its mother and father. You can ask this little Cupid questions that are in your heart. Preparing the field of unconditional love will attract a baby spirit as it is optimal evolutionary environment to grow in. Natural method of birth control. If the time is not right for you to conceive a child, there are several natural ways of supporting your choice. Other sources of natural birth control is a clear intention that becoming a mother is not your path at this time for the sake of all beings. Many women I know have a big event coming up and they tell their bodies, please don't menstruate until this event has passed, because they want their full strength for it. Intention is very, very powerful. And even if that's a subconscious, there's a doubt that you might be unaware of, that will be the underlining, the subconscious record that's playing will be that intention. Dual cultivation. Working on dual cultivation as a couple is a powerful form of conscious birth control. The man has an opportunity to practice pulling out or pulling the energy up before the point of no return. Preventing pregnancy. A man really needs to know himself, and the woman also needs to know him to not draw the ejaculate out of him. Like musicians, they both need to play sensitive attention to energetic building into the orgasm crescendo without dropping their instruments. So it's an awareness and understanding of where you're directing that energy rather than that release. And it's the man needs to be curious and responsible enough to know where his partner is in her cycle and adjust accordingly, either by avoiding penetration or by being very careful to not ejaculate within her. That meant that women need to be in touch with the cycle and open enough to express it into her partner. It needs to be that you talk about your periods, you know when your cycle is, you know and understand the energy of each other and the rhythms of moods and tuning into when you have a conscious relationship as a couple. That would be something that's part of naturally there. It's an understanding. It's just part of reflection and understanding each other. A popular natural birth control method is based on self-observation of cervic mucus, which produces a wet or slippery vaginal sensation leading up to ovulation. You'll be able to follow a pattern of cervical mucus change over the course of each menstrual cycle. So during knowing when your period is and knowing what's happening with your body with the bacteria that's going on. So this is really tuning into the internal understanding of your body, like your mouth, your gut, and the vagina. Cervical mucus is affected by erogenous 6 days. It's estrogen. There we go. Estrogen 6 days before ovulation, which it starts to become clear and elastic, like stretchy egg whites. This mucus stretches between the thumb and the finger and is sometimes called spin. Sperm can thrive and survive in the cervical mucus and be viable when the egg arrives. So this is not a good time to have your partner ejaculate within you. If you wish to avoid pregnancy, ovulation is likely to occur the last day of your mucus is in this phase. So that's if you're trying to avoid. And obviously, if you're trying to get pregnant, that's the optimal time for you to be conceiving. Progesterone, it becomes a production of progesterone. It becomes tacky between your thumb and index finger, sticky and opaque white. As the mucus changes, it becomes less hospitable to the sperm. Be aware, so the acidical content changes. Be aware of the lubricant sensitivity in the vagina. After you ovulate, your vagina sensations will go back to feeling more dry. To avoid conception, it is best to prevent ejaculation inside the woman's body for about 3 days before and about 3 days after ovulation. If you have irregular cycles and it is hard for you to track your natural rhythm, it is very important for you to track the temperature as well as the cervical mucus. Just before I read on, there are things on the market that you can buy. I can't remember the names of them, but if you go, that actually where you take your temperature, you take the pH value. The science of this is actually that you can utilize, and if you're not using barrier contraception, this is other forms of contraception. If you look into that, they can do the due diligence and do that, where you take the temperature and it spikes. I remember my mum years ago, even this is something that they would have done, and she said about when they even back then they were more aware, I believe, and would say about when the temperature spikes. So she was the one that actually informed me of that. You will be taking your basal body temperature upon waking up before getting out of bed in the morning. There is a slight rise in temperature when you are ovulating. You know, like when you're coming up to you feel it because you start to feel more hot at night, swing the covers off, you're running at a hot temperature. The yang energy is more present. Because that fire is there, that creative energy is present basically for that creation. So the body temperature upon waking before getting out of bed in the morning. There is a slight rise in the temperature when you are ovulating. This is a sign that you are in heat, is what they call for cats. So as you record the story of changes in vaginal sensations and cervical mucus, you can put them in the context of the cycle of the moon. And for some, that's the cycle of the sun. I've said to you, daily tracking cervical mucuses. Lots of it's the 28-day cycle. And I just want to interject here, some of those women that say it's more irregular, it's not because it's more irregular, it's because it's connected to a different cycle of time, and that might be why that's happening. So do a little bit of research into that. You can write, when I was a teen, I used to do this. So you write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you write weeks and the months down, and you can do like a graph that you then tap, and it sort of goes in a flow of the dates as you do it over the years. And if you track it like that, you can start to see when it starts to shift and when that starts to move. And if you then overlay either the moon, if you're doing it for the 28 days, or more solar cycles, sometimes mine's switching to more galactical cycles, and those different timings, that they still are a cycle. Daily tracking cervical mucus methods of birth control can be 78 to 97% effective. However, research has shown that this effectiveness can be increased to 98.5% by integrating lunar biorhythms, calculating into your mucus and temperature tracking, proven by comprehensive research on over 10,000 women. Lunar biorhythm tracking accounts for the likelihood of spontaneous ovulation that may occur due to your lunar alignment, no matter where in the cycle you are. 4 easy steps of natural fertility contraception. 1, keep track of the first day of your period and count from there. Be aware of mucus secretions, clear and stretchy, ovulation, white, creamy and tacky, further from ovulation. Be aware, sorry, that was 2. 3, be aware that there is slight temperature rise or spike at ovulation. And 4, be aware of your inner lunar date, exact phase of the moon on the day you were born. So if you know your birth chart on the day that you were born, and you know what your moon sign is and where that's at, that will affect it, is what this is saying. I haven't looked into the research on that, so that would be interesting to go into. I kind of feel this is relevant as well. I'm being told that when you feel the lunar energy is relevant to this as well. So for example, I feel the lunar energy and its effect on me prior to the full moon process. So a couple of days before is when I feel it. So that time, and generally when I'm open to being and creating, that's when the period's in sync with that, the period's in sync with that. When it's the opposite, when you're letting release that egg, it's in sync with that. And when it's around the new moon, which is the new creation time, is generally when it's meant to be in sync with creation. It may be the other way for some people, it may be in different cycles, but learn your own cycle and what you're in sync with by tracking those things and making notes of them. And then over a period of time, you can look back and you can analyze, oh, right, okay, yeah, that's when I'm most fertile, that's when I'm most emotional, that's when my body's feeling like that. So becoming a mother. This is a time for nurturing and stabilizing yourself and receiving the support you need. If you feel that you are ready to have a child, spiritual practice can support you through each stage of the marvelous journey. Preparing the womb for conception. You can invite conception by preparing your body, mind, and spirit. Prepare a succulent home for your child. If you want to become pregnant, you can use your innate lunar anchor to nourish your essence at the time by taking blood tonics and eating food that nourishes the blood. Now, my take on this would be to be taking, so aligning with the solar, thinking of that sun and love and joy and creating and visualizing the womb to be filled with light and love and sun and joy and all those things, as well as creating the home environment for that, maybe creating the space in the home for that, and within the relationship to having the intention for bringing that in. But foods that's going to nourish, that's high in iron, that's good for, like folic acid, it's talking about things that are great for the body to create, the high for calcium for bones, all of those things that you're going to need through pregnancy. If you start taking them prior to the conception, so then when it happens, you've already got the perfect nutrients to create this amazing life within you. Ovulation, while this practice is usually used for harvesting potent chi from the developing egg to nourish the body, you want to do the opposite of this when you are trying to get pregnant or are pregnant. Using ovarian breathing to charge the egg or embryo with an much good chi as possible. So you're sending that chi to the baby, to the egg, to the seed, to the what's in you. So it's like it's the fertilized energy. And I would add in a layer of protection for it to be the highest good of that soul's evolution. So Qigong, the fountain of yin and shower of yang practice, detailed in chapter 7, we'll get to that, is good to practice for gathering the chi in the womb. So it's that circulating. Fertility meditation practice, the following meditation to ready your womb for conception. Right, we're going to do this. So obviously I'm not hoping to have a baby myself. So if you are following this along and you're not wanting to get pregnant, then put the purpose of this instead of a baby for it to be a project, a thing that you want to bring in to fertilize in your life. For example, a creative project that you're working on, or a book, or a practice, a relationship, a birthing, a new beginning of a relationship, and a new era that you want to birth that energy into. So preparing the fertile ground. We tend to do a lot of these practices during class when we're working through, when I'm saying like furrowing the fields, when we're working with different energy of the wood, for example, and I'm saying clearing out, prepping your body for this new you, new pathways for the new conceptions and downloads to come through. So I do twist them to work for you in a way that's not necessarily for birthing, but for manifesting. Consciously breathe in the fertile mother energy. So close your eyes. Imagine this, this is building the substance of the body and gives us support. So I would say this is the liquid light, white light plasma that you're drawing in, you're surrounding around that energy. Maybe it's a healing, so recreating, reconstructing an area of the body that needs to revamp, to be reborn. Sit or stand with the palms down to earth, mountain pose, palms down. So you're grounding that energy in. Turn your palms to the sky and breathe in heavenly chi. It's coming up, energizing the body. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the heaven and the earth couple at your navel, linking that silver and gold masculine energy, feminine energy, pure energy, light at the belly button. The coupling at the navel center, and form a ball of balanced yin, yang, chi. Breathe in the chi ball with your palms facing each other. Breathe in. Place your charged hands over the ovarian palaces, so over your ovaries, and absorb the energy into the womb. And I'd like to add into this and to inject this. So if there's any trauma there, that it's being cleared, anything to be released, any ancestral patterns to be cleared, for the perfect, fine energy to come into, to create into. The energy into the womb. Talk to the life force. You can state, these make the body fertile, round and grow. Insert healthy baby or ground and grow, and focus on what it is you want to bring into birthing. Stay there in the feeling of that moment. For those of you that are wanting to bring a baby, you can say, my yoni is fertile and ready to grow a healthy baby. Others, you can just, my yoni is healthy, happy, and whole. And now birthing. I want you to hold an image of a mother and a child bathed in light. And you can do this with your mother. You can take that a step further. So if you're a mom, you can feel back into prior to conception. Let's step back in time and allowing any trauma that may have been there from birth, through conception, to clear. You can go back and forward. So doing the same thing, calling that in to heal. Any emotional sounds, you can invoke any sounds, for example, the emotional trauma. Is the Reiki chant for the emotions. It's a little bit of trauma, not just setting that intention that you're clearing past, present, future, birthing experiences, allowing it to be here with this aligned, highest highest energy of divine conception to come through you, through your hearts, for your children, surrounding you, protective, loving energy. Conception. At conception, the yin and the yang energies of patterns emerge. The divine potential of the Tao, with the primordial, true, unified, generative energy of creation, is that white liquid plasma of creation. Taoist classics describe the act of creation and the formation of the spirit embryo in this way. Formless produces form. Immaterial produces substance. This is the particle, it's going on a deep level. The mother womb is the container for the primordial energy of creation, the yang, yin, which nourishes the embryo. This is where energetically sometimes there can be this corruption. So when we're talking, we align with the clearing of any corruption from that energy. Through meditation, you can talk to the growing cells and the life force, breath and smile, and say affirmations inwardly, such as, may the natural order of cell growth make this baby vital, strong, and healthy. Tell all the cells I love you. I think the divine, the universe. I thank the divine, the universe, highest aspect of myself, I'm inserting, for supporting the natural growth of the baby, this project, for it to be the divine blueprint of, for it to be in the highest essence it could possibly be. Imagine your inner smile as golden love and sunlight shining on the ocean of the womb, bringing that feminine gold essence along with the silver masculine essence for that creating of the physical. the ocean of the womb. So feel the sun light across the shimmering, the liquid light plasma flowing. Pregnancy. Ripple the fruit. Pregnancy is a time of female empowerment and inner growth. This yang process needs the balance of yin, calm, peace, gentleness. Recall the Tai Jin symbol. Yang, which is the yin, is one lobe, and the yin within the yang is the other lobe. Nesting time allows the mother to build her energy for the birth, like calm before the storm. The child grows when in a peaceful, meditative space, like a seed grows in a quiet earth. A harmonious internal atmosphere is very important, as fetal feels all the mother's emotions. So the emotional field is linked at that point. And this is why that trauma, the trauma through birthing, and why you can do practices, or they have practices, you can go back to your birth if it was traumatic and you can rebirth yourself. You can do this in meditation. And I think I might have already done a recording. If I haven't, I will do, so that if that's you, if you feel that there's trauma linked for you as a person, that we can work that through. Or if you yourself as a mother has had that traumatic, as we said, we can send that healing back for our calming, like we were just doing. We can do that on a longer session. The harmonious internal atmosphere is very important, as the fetus feels all the mother's emotions. Furthermore, a positive environment allows for healthy growth of the cells and immune system. Relax and let go of stress and negativity, which can be toxic for the fetus. The inner smile and healing sounds meditation can release stress and increase positive vibes and virtues. During this time, the mother's priority should be to align of being a mother. It is being a mother conflicts with her career goals, the fetus will feel this. It's that time before. So when you're on your maternity leave, it's that getting ready, and that can be coupled in our modern lifetimes. This is an ideal world, but because we're bringing it to the conscious, but bearing in mind that there are these stresses, it's consciously releasing and being aware of those stresses and allowing yourself, right, I'm going to create this space for my birthing. We call it nesting. When the woman starts to get ready to prepare, that's those instincts, that's that energy building, but also it's arresting herself to build her energy ready for the birth, which is ahead of her. So practicing during pregnancy and childbirth. Pregnancy is an opportunity to deepen connection with your body, your heart, and spirit, to surrender to all the changes and prepare for great letting go. General ways you can support yourself and your baby during this time include the following. So these are things you can do that they suggest in the book, and you might know some others, you might resonate with some, you might disagree with some. And same with these processes, it's an ethos, a process for connecting in a more of a conscious way, if you'd like to look at it that way. So I'm not saying you have to do all this. So diet, avoid cooling foods like excess raw, dairy, damp or frozen foods. Mild and balanced foods are beneficial, as are foods with high iron levels. Listen to your body's needs. Muscle tests. Even if you're going around the shops, when you're doing the shopping, or when you're looking at the image on the screen, if you're shopping online in more modern terms, feel into it. Is this going to be good for my body? Should I have this in my diet? Yes or no, right? Your body will tell you. Voicing programming. It was discovered that pleasant sounds program their chicks in the egg with functions when they are hatched. Sing or speak to your baby pleasant messages like, my princess, you are growing beautifully. You are welcome into this world with love. Sing the baby's name if you are already knowing it. And so tuning, high frequency vibration is going to keep that frequency vibration and bringing birth into that as well. Music, many research, here we go, music researchers over the years have demonstrated the benefits of music to be grown and developed and living things. For instance, it was found that plants grow better when exposed to harmonious music like Mozart, and energetic fields, or even a simple object such as a cotton ball expands with sound prayer. Isn't that awesome? We know now as well the hertz, and there's certainly a difference, and it's certain songs that are recorded at certain hertz because of disharmony of the emotion through the body. It actually makes you feel on edge, and other stuff. I can't physically hear certain things that aren't in the certain hertz now that I've acclimatized myself to these high frequencies. I can feel and hear the disharmony of that, so I can't have it around me anyway. So it's the same principles. We know that different sound healing and like singing bowls, different pitches can cause, so that I would say the heart energy is a great one to have around. And those hertz, I can't remember off by heart, don't want to say the wrong one because there's a subtle difference. You want the one that was before the 1950s and it changed all music to be like honed at that. So you can still get that, but what something that uplifts your emotional field as well is a good thing. So if you can't and you don't want to go too much into hertz music, then stuff that you love, because that joy energy is going to radiate through your emotional field and that's going to affect the baby. So there are going to be times, I just want to add this, when you can't do that. So don't worry too much if you are going through stresses, if things are coming up. It's talking to and allowing and saying, like, in those moments, getting yourself out of the fight or flight enigma of the brain. I'm just running anxiety, it's fine, baby's well protected, and even. So yeah, just and knowing and visualizing a white ball around, know that it's in that white sack. You can set an alignment and attachment to the fact that that is constantly a bubble of love that's growing in this wonderful, wonderful energy that's there. I would also say about crystals and having that, and a little ones by you by the bed, so it's all around if you reach the bed or something like that. That's another thing you can do. Love making, massage and cuddling are comfortable and comforting and can ease back discomfort. Intercourse will cause gentle contractions of the uterus and will massage the baby with love. So it's a good thing, that energy of love. Some people fear this around, but it's just uncomfortable at certain times. Avoiding intercourse, however, if there is a danger of premature labor, because those contractions can set, that's the reason why. If you need to induce the labor, intercourse can be a good way to make the baby, bring the baby into the world in dynamic love, and it can help speed that up with those contractions. Qigong is great. Moving, breathing, meditations, that is low impact. So all Qigong is low. It's why it's great for anyone that suffers from an injury or they're recovering and they don't want to be doing higher HIIT sessions. You can have it as a complementary movement, or you can do it because it stretches the whole body. There's more intense ones that were more for martial arts and stuff, but generally, like basic Qigong has this gentle movement. We move the body, we move all the joints, we move all the lymphatic system and the blood, we get everything pumping and moving and keep it lubricated, and moving the energy around as well as the breath, and get you out of the mind, but you're moving through all the body, the emotional and the mental fields. So moving and breathing meditations that's low impact is cultivates calm focus and free movement of chi. Movement that gathers chi from nature, excuse me, are very supportive, like ocean breathing. Avoid pressing and tapping acupressure points, as many points are contradictory during the pregnancy. Dance, so hula dancing, are any movements that activate the belt channels, will spiral chi around the hips and keep the back and pelvis flexible. Relax. The movements also contain and protect the energy fields. The mother can hold a jade egg in her vagina as the dance spontaneously, like the ocean of the wind. So This talks, so there's like perennial massage and stuff that you can do, building up that thing to get ready for first baby. Holding the egg, it's strengthening those muscles. Specific, also think about the energy of the egg as well, jade crystal that it's made from. Specific practices for pregnancy. In addition to activities above, there are several practices that are specific to the generational period or have had specific modifications for pregnancy. So Secret Life of Plants, Cambridge, UK is a reference for that. University of Cambridge, Pressure 73, Fabio Man, The Tay of Sound, self-published by Tam Du Academy in the Czech Republic, is some of the books it says about sound. So anyway, moving on to parental breathing, prenatal breathing, sorry. I reading my dyslexia here, reading the book, hence pushing myself. Microscopic orbit, also called prenatal breathing, microcosmic orbit, also called prenatal breathing, refers to the flow of energy that balances the flow of yin and yang meridians and supports the growth of the fetus. The orb contains the energy and protects the mother energy field. It holds in the baby and in this way helps prevent miscarriage. The microcosmic orbit also reels in chi from the universe. As you meditate, intend the orbit to pull in whatever elements are needed to nourish you and your baby. Dual orbits, a sense of microcosmic orbit in your body and in the fetus. The chi in the growing fetus flows in fire cycle up the spine and down the front of the body. When the child is born, chi flows in the water cycle up the front and down the back. Until puberty, in adulthood, chi can flow in either the fire or the water cycle. Allow both of your orbits to harmonize, even through their speeds and directions may be very different. Avoid manipulating chi, as the chi is very wise. It goes and knows what it needs to do. So let it follow, let it do what it needs to do. So water wheels, invite and scoop ocean or earth water power into your orbit to nourish the kidneys. And we talk about the wisdom of the kidneys coming up to the heart. Wash the kidneys and then wash over the fetus, circle around your heart and wash love over the fetus. Love comes down to wash the kidneys, circle over the head and wash wisdom around the fetus. So there's a detailed practice that we can go into as well. I won't do that now. I'm just going to go through them. So building earth energy. The energy of the earth element is very important during pregnancy. So it's important to be grounded as it builds blood, and the physical body use earth energy for upwards drawing and avoiding and drawing energy away from the growing fetus. It is not recommended to practice with the jade eggs whilst pregnant. Do not interfere with the energy field, as nature is very wise. The pregnant woman should not unusually overextend herself. Practice notice in all the various pelvic muscles and tightening and relaxing them, mostly relaxing. So the problem we said about was to get pregnancy to come before, so during, not to. Practicing injecting the yoni egg a few times and notice the inner gesture. Hugging trees is a great way to absorb earth energy, as is kidney breathing. So kidney breathing, I'll show you quickly. Here is holding and breathing in and And the Zanzu, or hugging the tree, is when you're standing or if you're sitting and feeling that grounding energy come down. So, and keep me breathing. So breast massage. So the massage is one of the ones that I do because of a history of breast cancer, is the circling. So it's 36 times one way together, then 36 times the other way, and then holding. And that massages the breast tissue. You do it in the shower when you're washing, and it's really quick. It's not a sensual thing. It's just a process things like self-massage. To be able to do that, I think is very good. So stomach meridian, those energies have a lot to do with nourishment and trust. Flow through the nipples. Worry and anxiety can therefore cause blockages to the natural flow of chi in the stomach, the spleen, which is here, and their meridians. Breast massage is helpful for releasing such blockages, which can build up and see disharmony and blockages that can cause other things. And for reliving pain and engorged breasts, it softens and opens the heart, helping the mother to accept the changes in her life. If the breasts are very sensitive, as ethereal massage with the intent of soothing, so you're visualizing it happening and the energy is massaging instead of the physical touch, if they're too sensitive to touch. Ethereal massage with intent to soothe can be practiced. Harvest the virtual energies from the organs and fuse them into compassion. Send this high frequency energy down to the uterus to nourish the unborn child. Nipple massage will prepare the glands for whatever changes are needed. It can also help relieve anxiety when combined with the inner smile and full breathing. Tay yoga. Several Tay yoga exercises are also good during pregnancy. The cat, arching and curling the back whilst kneeling on all fours, eases the back pain. Spiral pelvic rock frees up the circulation of microcosmic orbit. And kidney breathing, which you said about lying on your back and hugging the knees against your chest. Breathe earthly energy into the spine and kidneys, and kidney breathing is good for building up energy. So when you need it for birth, so when you're laying and I'd say you can't hug when the bump's there. You need to put the knees up as what's comfortable for you. Orgasmic breathing. Open up to the possibility of having an orgasmic birth. Clear the fear of your own birth from your womb and vagina with womb breathing. Practice the inner smile and healing sound meditations to transform any anxiety in your organs that you and your ancestors might have had around giving birth or being born, and balance these contracting feelings with love and openness. Open the body and let the hips spiral up the ocean. Rotate the hips counterclockwise to spiral up the earth chi to nourish the baby. Rotate your hips clockwise to spiral down heavenly chi to facilitate giving birth. Be free with sound, especially orgasmic sound. The ah sound makes the body more receptive and deeply flowing. Try the heart sound, which is the H-A-L, and the ah. That's the third eye chakra and the heart linked. And the ma, and ma and ha to keep the heart open. When the heart opens, so does the vagina. I highly recommend the DVDs, The Birth as We Know It, available at Birthington. So this is what it's in the book. So I can't say whether I recommend those or not because I haven't actually watched them. Birthintobeing.com. Orgasmic Birth, available as orgasmicbirth.com. What a way to be born. So I myself, that I haven't watched those, so that's Milka's devices, not my personal one. So unless I've seen them, but I used myself hypnobirthing, and was listening to that. I was very connected, as I say, through that. First birth, that went out the window. So I'm fully aware that some of this stuff, when things hit, you can't concentrate. So that said, as much practice as when it gets to the real thing, you have to go with the flow and what's right, and divine timing, whatever experience you have, even if there is some trauma, will possibly be whatever's needed to be had for that now moment, for any growth lesson. So I do feel that you need to allow for that to be the case and make peace with whatever it will be, is to be in the highest good of all for you and your child. Recovering after childbirth. After childbirth, the pelvic floor can remain painful for some time. Place your healing hands over your yoni and breathe slowly and deeply. Soothe the area with blue, gentle light to heal inflammation. Breathe freely with tone. Breathe. Breastfeeding will tone the uterus. When you breastfeed it, or if you're able to, it pulls everything naturally back in. The act actually itself, you get this contraction. It's why it can be quite painful. If you can bear with it, if you're able to stick it out. It took me a while for my first. I remember the blood coming through, and they said for a first mother, they were quite shocked that I was okay with it. I expected it, and I understood my body in a way, and it was okay. And yeah, there was, oh my God. But once you get past that, and it doesn't happen naturally. I think I had this, oh, it'll feel nice, natural birth, natural feeding, it's going to be easy. No, it takes a while to get it, and so bear with it. It doesn't happen overnight. It took me, I think, a good 6 weeks of persevering to get past that. And I'm someone that full-time fed my children right up, like long-term fed feeding. So I've definitely got the grips with it. So after childbirth, the pelvic floor can remain painful. So if we're seeing some breathing in, healing hands over the yoni, and breathe slowly and deeply, soothing the area with the blue, gentle light to heal inflammation. Breastfeeding will tone the uterus. Wait until the wall of the vaginas are healed before practicing with the jade egg, and start with gentle practices, lying down. Wait until the tissues are strong before practicing, and standing practice. So this is bath as we know it. Amber Hartnell, who's starred in Birth as We Know It. This is an extract they're sharing. I am blessed to meet Milka DeVos 2 years after the birth of my first son, which was an orgasmic experience that radically expanded my capacity to feel pleasure and opened me into an inherently ecstatic nature. When she began to share some of the practices from the Feminine Treasures, I lit up with delight as I discovered that many of these ancient techniques for cultivating our feminine radiance that she was transmitting, I was already connected to as the innate wisdom emerging through me from the inner inside out, guiding me into those spaces of cultivating and renewal. In receiving her embodied wisdom, the deepest core of my being was affirmed, like the universal acknowledgement that I was on the right track to keep listening and to allow this inherent wisdom to inform my practice, from my connection to what feels natural and nourishing. On the greatest gift she gave me is one of the greatest gifts she gave me in our initial meeting has given back exponentially in my life. A jade egg, the introduction of the practice to begin to work with it on a consistent basis, and was atoned at what awoke within me. Within a few weeks of cultivating, the vitality of my yoni and womb came online in a way I had never before known. And I not only regained the strength and tone, that had existed prior to being stretched open to birth, but far suppressed it into new realms of articulation and expansion in the subtle energies of pleasure. That cultivation as well is like they say, well, like when you're weeing, to contract, to stop the flow of the wee will help with bladder. I know a lot of women have that issue after giving birth of the bladder. With me, with my son, particularly with the C-section, it was moved. So that was something that had to be looked at. So you don't need to jump on a trampoline for any mummies out there who want to pee, which is something that we don't talk about, as to the fact that sometimes because you don't know how to push and it's a new sensation that you end up doing at the same time if birthing naturally. And obviously if you're in a hospital, that's all cleared away, you don't know about it. But I gave birth at home, so we need to talk about this stuff. It is messy. It's getting the periods and pooing and weeing. It's getting it past that. No, I'm not going to talk about, and actually understanding. And when people start to share their stories and understanding each other, they realize they're not alone, and this is normal. That it's not something to be shameful and we mustn't talk about. It's a beautiful thing and process and understanding our bodies. Breastfeeding and breast care after childbirth. Breast milk is formed from the yin blood and produces by the spleen and stomach. Before pregnancy, yin blood flows downwards as menses when you have your period. During pregnancy, the yin blood flows through the conception vessel and thrusting channels to nourish the fetus. After birth, the blood fluid turns from red to white and moves upwards to become milk. Excess stress, grief, anger, or stagnation can make the milk toxic. If the baby consumes this toxic milk, it can cause malnutrition. So if there's ever help, so those emotions and that healing can help if you're doing those areas to be clearing of any of that from the body. Gentle massage of the breast acts like a water wheel that pumps earth chi up through and into the legs, through the pelvis and up through the breast. For lactating mothers, breast massage relieves engorged soreness by increasing drainage of the lymph nodes and milk ducts and promoting blood circulation. Massaging the breast can stimulate letdown and expression of milk and increase milk flow, channel the Mother Earth energy up to the breasts and massage in the essence of life force to replenish the breasts. After life birth, women can emphasize the uplifting in their breasts, massaging to prevent sagging. It is vital for the mother to smile to her breasts and be grateful to her breasts as a source of nourishment for her child and herself. So like when I was saying about the breast, you hold up and you like, oh, thank you, and loving. But also when you're feeding, you can visualize that flow of light flowing through you, especially if you're activated and Reiki mastered any of those healing modalities, bringing in that plasmic white light so that it's beautiful flowing energy through and into life into the baby. Because obviously it's getting that baby, when it's touching the breast, is telling whatever is around, that if say there's a cold going around, it will pick up. It's amazing, the technology. It will tell your body, and the milk production will give it the immunity that it needs before you even get it. So then you will get that, and it will pull like the things that you've had and that from past. And if you think about it in terms of energy, when we're purging and all of those things, it's like not needing to do that because there is no need for purge, because there's a healing taking place and it's already, toxins are gone. I have noticed the regimen in the feminine energy and overall sense of renewal. As for the breast massage, I have noticed that my breasts look and feel fuller and are improved back to the natural state after having 2 children. Even my partner noticed it's nice to know that a self-loving practice can enhance the tone and firmness of the breast, almost revitalizing, reversing time. That's from Rachel, a mother that worked with Milky Boss. And I will stop there as we move next chapter into menopause. So thank you for listening. Let me know in the comments below, are you a mum? Did you do any of these practices? Do you think they make a difference? Whether you're cultivating and birthing a project, or you're birthing and connecting with the energetical child. So I want to insert you here. Say you are a mum and you are a stepmom, but you don't have a child that you birthed from yourself, and you're wondering, well, how do these practices help me on an energetical conscious conception of how can I link this child is now to bring in that conscious awareness? Well, it's slightly different because that child has been conceived in a different way, and you've not had any connection to that. But what you can have is the connection to the nurturing energy and that motherly energy that you draw in with your actions and the way you are, the way you be in your relationship with the child. So sending loving, nurturing energy energetically, setting the intention that you will act in the highest good for all involved, outside of what it's going beyond that, and calling in the guides from the child and yourself for them to be connected to the highest good of all involved. I hope this has been helpful. This is me on our self-help, self-shelp section. Today we were reading Tao Tantric Arts for Women by Milky Boss, a section in extract from that book, Unconscious Conception. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tracer Jande. I'm True Heart Art Design Authentic, or Love Authentic Me.